Yo, so Travis Scott, one of the biggest artists in the past 5 years and one of my favorite artists to come up in the past 5 years, so I decided I would do this video. Utopia is right around the corner, it's probably going to drop this year, so I thought it would be fitting to do the video now. So I'm going to be counting every single Travis Scott song from one of his albums and days before Rodeo. I will not be including Owl Pharaoh because I think that's by far his weakest project. I just think most of the songs on there would probably place in the last places. No non-album singles as well, and also no tracks from the Boys collective album that he did. But other than that, I'm pretty much including everything, every single song from Days Before Rodeo up to Astroworld. This is very subjective. It's my favorite songs. That's my personal favorite track. So don't get mad at me if, your favorite song is lower on the list. I'm sorry, okay? I just don't like it. Okay, let's get into it. I'm gonna start off with songs that I think are bad. There's not many, but there is a couple. When I was making this list, I didn't recognize this track. That's how forgettable it is to me. So that's pretty much why I place this last.
With a devil in the new dress on the 35th floor, nigga, goddamn, that's a...
Back is very rough, which could be good, but I just don't feel like it's executed well on this track. It's done a lot better in some of the Days Before Rodeo songs, just not really on this song. It's not really for me.
I'm frozen, now come a little closer.
Even though I do like the instrumental on this track, I don't exactly think it's anything special. It just kind of exists and it gets pretty boring. Next, we're gonna go into songs that I think are okay, they're listenable, nothing really special, but not really something I would turn off if it came on. Sweet Sweet is the first song in that category. I just think it's a bit annoying with the vocals. Other than that, I mean, the song is fine. The instrumental on Zombies and the chorus are pretty good, but I just don't really like the verses too much. Another track which I think is cool, it's okay, just a little bit forgettable. Through the Late Night is a pretty bad interpolation of Day and Night by Kid Cudi. I mean, he's literally on the song. It just feels like a cheaper version of Day and Night. A pretty good track, but also very, very overplayed, which is why I put it this low. Backyard has some pretty good ideas and has really high points as well, but in general, as a track, I don't feel like it works too well. It feels a little bit too long for me and all over the place. Next, we're getting into tracks that I think are decent, and I would actually choose to listen to them.
So wake me when the sun goes down.
Gray being the first song in that category, I think it has a pretty nice groove to it. It's pretty chill, it's pretty, lively, and in general, just a pretty catchy song. Don't Play, definitely a very hard-hitting track, and I like aspects of it a lot, especially the chorus. A pretty basic song production-wise, but Gunna absolutely eats the track up. A really basic song production-wise, but I like the groove of it, and I like the NAF feature a lot. Not a lot happening in this track. It's pretty repetitive, it's an interlude after all, but I think it does pretty well. It's hypnotizing, and I think it works nice. Never Catch Me is a really interesting track because I think it has the most potential out of any Travis Scott song, but it doesn't exactly feel fully finished to me or kind of played out the way that I would like it to be played out, at least what I think it could have been. There's a lot of sections to it. I like some more than others, so of course that's gonna impact my enjoyment of it. It has really high highs, but also falls short at a few parts, so I didn't really know where to put it. I'm just gonna put it at 45. Pretty much has the same flow as Butterfly Effect, but the instrumental is a lot more hard-hitting, and I think I like that a lot more. A pretty calm, mellow song, and I like Travis Scott a lot on it. The Prayer works great as an intro to a hero. It's hard, it's punchy, it does what an intro needs to do. If you're not counting the deluxe, this is my least favorite song from Rodeo, but I still think it's pretty good, and this just kind of shows how good of an album Rodeo is. Guidance, a pretty vibey, lively track, and I think I like that about it. Another more basic song off of Astroworld, but it goes pretty hard, so I like it. Travis doesn't really shine on here, but the instrumental really does it for me. I think the whole skeleton thing is pretty cool. Same thing goes for OK Alright as it does for Never Catch Me, a song with an insane amount of potential but just doesn't really deliver on it. Next we're getting to songs that I think are good, songs that I would give an 8 or higher, and songs that I would put in my playlist. Stop Trying to Be God being the first song there, it's pretty progressive, it's pretty long, and a lot happens in that track, even though it's pretty mellow. It's not too complex, it's pretty simplistic, but it does what it needs to do. It's a beautiful song. Coffee Bean works as a great outro to Astroworld, and it's one of the more introspective songs on there. A song that I used to love, and I still think it's pretty good, but it doesn't hold up to the rest of Rodeo. And again, that doesn't say anything against this song, it just says how good of an album Rodeo is. Tell me why you wanna leave me. A very drugged out song, it's kind of slow, it's really sloppy, but I love that about it, it's so psychedelic. Really going down in the goddamn side. Again, another song from Rodeo with an insane amount of potential, but I think it maybe falls a little bit short, but still though, it's really hard hitting and a good song. I don't really get the hate for this song. I mean, it's a cool track, just vibe to it and you'll enjoy it a lot more. One of Travis's darkest sounding song, and he has a pretty mellow delivery, pretty mellow voice, but then later into the track, you know, he kind of kicks it into another gear, and I think it's great. It gives the song a lot of energy, but still it sounds really dark. It's only at 29 because of how overplayed it is. It's an absolute banger of a track. The End is a great intro. Andre 3000 absolutely kills it. Travis Scott kills it. I just like everything about the song. Way Back has a really good beat switch. Both parts of the songs are great, and it's a pretty catchy song. I mean, it's a Travis Scott and The Weeknd collab. I don't think it can go wrong. Every song that they've done together just sounds great. Outside placing at 25th, it's a really hard-hitting song and it's pretty repetitive, but I think that works in its favor. Everyone on Mamacita does great. The beat is also great. It's just a very good track from start to finish. Pornography is a great song to start off Rodeo with. It's very psychedelic, it's very trippy, but I think that works in its favor. It lets you know what Rodeo is gonna sound like and it gets you prepared. Very high energy and one of Travis's hardest songs. I used to like this track a lot more, but as I've listened to it more, it's kind of grown off on me, but still, 21 is a great spot. A very mellow and trippy song, but that's why I like it. I think it pulls off that vibe great. What I feel like is one of his most underrated tracks, to be honest. 21 Savage kills it, Travis does really good with his voice, and in general, just a very good song. A perfect party song, all elements of it are hype. Another one of Travis's songs that I think are really underrated. This song introduced Don Toliver to the world, and it's a great performance of him. Really carries Travis Scott on here, but he does so well that it's enough to get this song at 16. Probably Travis's most popular song, but for a very good reason. There's a lot of beat switches, Drake does pretty well, Travis Scott does great. It's a pretty good hype song. A psychedelic song, pretty much like the rest of Rodeo, is really long, but I think it holds up to its length pretty well. It used to be my favorite Travis Scott song. Obviously it's grown off of me a little bit, but I still think it's really solid. Young Thug brings a really good verse, Quavo does his part, and the outro by Mike Dean is great. I think we've noticed a pattern of Travis having really good intros to his album, and I mean, this is just another one of them. A song with an insane instrumental, and Travis Scott also does so well on it. He's able to carry out the length of the song really well. Yes, it is pretty repetitive, but he changes his delivery a lot, and as the song goes on, it progresses. The 808 is really loud. Travis experiments a lot more with his voice, and it's just a great song. And now we're getting into the top 10. These are my favorite Travis Scott songs, and I think they are amazing. I think they really show how good of an artist Travis Scott is. Another Travis Scott and The Weeknd collab. I'm convinced they can't miss. They literally cannot miss when they're working together. This song is very fast-paced, it's very hard-hitting. Hearing autotune on The Weeknd is really odd, but I think he pulls it off pretty well. Skeletons is, in my opinion, the best song on Astroworld. If there was a way to describe this track, it's really hard for me, but I would say it feels like you're drowning, if that makes any sense. It's very peaceful, and maybe euphoric would be the right word to describe it. I literally feel like as if I'm floating while I'm listening to this track. If I sit back and really get drawn into the track, it's a really cool experience.
I don't want your apple pie no more.
Apple Pie is a great outro to Rodeo. Travis goes off on the verses, and I think the song progresses as it goes on and sort of evolves, and I like that a lot about it. And it ends up with the poem, I guess you could call it a poem, by T.I. on the outro, which is also on the intro of Pornography, so I think that works pretty well.
Damn girl, I'll be up late. If you want, you can meet me at the studio.
I mean, do I really need to say anything about this song? It's one of the most loved Travis Scott songs by his fans, and I can definitely see why I love this song myself. Justin Bieber is definitely an interesting pick, but he does so well on here. He just floats over the beat. Young Thug brings weird vocal inflections, but I think that worked really well on here, and Travis isn't even the best. He gets washed by the features. Yet he still does great, so that just says how good this song is. Skyfall is one of his most drowned out songs, if that's a way to describe it. The vibe his earlier music gives off, I don't think he has been able to replicate that, and this song kind of shows that. It's long, it's repetitive, it sounds like it wouldn't really work well, but it's so melodramatic that it works perfectly.
All these honeys piling on the floor.
One of the hardest hitting songs on Rodeo. It works great as a party song. It's filled with auto-tune. There's a really weird noise for the melody, but it just flows together really well, and I mean, you can't really not get hyped to this. Features do great as well. Sway Lee does his thing. Chief Keef absolutely kills his features. He also brings a lot of entertainment with his lyrics, and I mean, yeah, just in general, a great song.
She pop 'em up, blue Chanel just to get it up.
Impossible is Travis's saddest sounding song, I would say. I think this song brings a big contrast to Rodeo. Like, it's really different from everything else on the album, so it stands out a lot more. And I mean, everything on it, the vocal effects, the auto-tune, the instrumental, it's so sorrow, if that's a word to use. I don't know. Travis's most drugged out song to date, and if someone said this was Travis's best song, I wouldn't argue with you at all. I can totally see it. It's another one of those more gloomy sounding songs. It's very cloudy, it's very dark, it's very drugged out. Again, I keep using that word for this song, but it fits perfectly. He delivers great on it, so much vocal effects going on. I like what's also going on with the drums, with the hi-hats. It's just, everything is great, from production to how the track feels to how it fits on Days Before Rodeo. It's amazing. Alright, I know I did a ranking video of Rodeo where I put 90210 first and said it's his best song, but listen, my opinion has changed, but that does not mean 90210 is not an absolutely amazing song. It's got two parts to it. The first part is very slow, but then the second part comes in, it sort of kicks in a little bit more, it's more hard-hitting. And this song doesn't really have any flaws in my opinion, but I think there's a better song out there. And that song being Oh My This Side. Now, I didn't realize just how good this track is until recently, but this song is by far Travis's best song and one of my favorite songs of all time now. Another song with two parts of it. Let me talk about the second side first. This side, just absolutely great, amazing. Quavo does well, Travis does well. It's a great trap banger, not overcomplicated, not super complex, just works great as a trap banger. But the first half, oh my. Oh my, oh my. It's the best thing Travis Scott has ever made, and I think it's the best thing Travis Scott will ever make, and it's also one of the best pieces of trap music ever. The beat is pretty slow, but extremely hard hitting. The drums on it are crazy, and Travis Scott goes toe to toe with them, bringing his energy to it, bringing his voice to it. Quavo jumps in, giving more energy to it, and it's just an absolute explosion of a song, and that's why it's gonna get the #1 spot. But yeah, comment your list down below. I'm interested to see. Also, please subscribe if you enjoyed. I've got more content coming, and it would mean so much to me as it would help push my video and my channel into the YouTube algorithm. But yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next time. Peace.